Welcome to my seed cave. I'm going to show you around a little bit and show you what seeds I have drying out.
So I have some penstemon seeds, some Culver's root, and you can see lots and lots of little seeds or plant materials. So the things that are in paper bag are drying out. They're not yet processed. And then if they are in these little plastic bags, then they are processed and they are ready either for refrigeration or to be stored just as is. Most things are just stored once they're dried out as is. I'm starting to get ready for winter stratification. It is fine to prep everything and prepare yourself, but you really shouldn't put any perennials out there until December, January. A really good time to do this is winter solstice.
So your first step is just to measure about 4.5 inches, and then you're going to cut it all the way around, leaving space at the handle for a hinge. So I like to get mine started with an X-Acto knife, but I do finish it off with scissors. It's just quite a bit easier to control. And if you're using an actual milk jug, this one was for water, you want to rinse it out with soap and water really good. The other thing to keep in mind is that you want your milk jug to be translucent, not one of those white opaque ones. You're going to need the light to get into your area for seeding. So now you can see I have it cut all the way around and I've left a hinge. So this allows you to seal it back up, okay? Something I didn't mention, but that is very important, you do not need the lid. You're gonna stick that in the recycling. This actually acts like a flue. You want water and moisture, snow, to be able to get into here and for the air to release from the top. And then our next step after this is to put drainage holes in the bottom, and drainage is so important over the winter. So you want to make sure that they're, a little bit on the angle here and not being blocked by whatever ground you put this on. And of course there's, many ways to do this. I am going to use a drill, but you could use a hot screwdriver, you can just use an X-Acto. And there you go. So I'm going to finish that off. So now I've got about 5 drainage holes here. And the next step is to fill this with potting soil. You want to go up pretty far. I would say about 3.5 inches. The nice thing about this method is you can leave your plants in there for a long time.
So right now we are at the end of September. I'm going to run this all the way through, but just so you know, you're not finishing this part until December, end of December. So you first want to dampen the soil and then put your seeds in. I'm going to be putting in beaked hazelnut because I actually want to be able to remove these, and that'll make it a lot easier on me. But remember, this method could be for anything. You can put acorns in here. I've got a bunch of white oaks, or more likely for perennials. Now keep in mind, if you have a seed that's really fine, like surface sown, like Culver's root or Joe Pye, you can put some damp, coarse sand over it and wet it, but leave it right on the surface. So labeling is extra important with this method. You need a UV resistant garden marker or some kind of wax pencil to write on the top of the milk carton. And you also need a less important that it's UV resistant, but a tag for the inside. In this case, I'm using a popsicle stick. And the reason you need both is that if your seed does start to germinate, you want to be able to, in the early summer or late spring, remove this. It ends up becoming like a planter. You've got enough soil in there that you can get some decent top growth. So when you cut that off, you want to know what you have. I think that's been one of my biggest challenges with growing my own plants is keeping things labeled, because it's really hard to ID things at the seedling stage.
Okay, and now I'm sealing it back up. I find that this is a lot easier if you use multiple pieces of tape. And there it is, ready to go. This is my favorite method of seed sowing because it's so effective. The jug acts like a little greenhouse. The opening at the top is a flue. It will, allow the moisture in, and then it will create condensation that will drip down the sides. If you don't see that in the winter, you should check it once a week. Then you want to add a little bit of water. You've got to keep those seeds moist for proper germination. So inside the jug is going to be warmer than outside, especially on a sunny day. Quite a bit warmer, like again, the effect of a greenhouse. So when your seed is ready to germinate, it's really going to proliferate in there. You'll find that most things, when you take the lid off in the spring, have reached a really high level of growth. They're 3 or 4, sometimes 5 inches. And the nice thing is you can cut the top off at the hinge and just let it go as if it's in a planter for as long as you need until you're ready to pot it up. You're going to have a lot, most likely, to pot up if you do several of these like I do. So I hope it's successful for you, and I look forward to hearing from you.